Hello, everybody, and welcome to Parks Bros. Today, we're going to be doing our official review of Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Now, I've only visited this park one time last year in August, and it was only for, I want to say, 5 or 6 hours because it was a short day. Now, I want to start this review off by talking about how I won't be just talking about the rides. I take everything into account when I review a park. Now, the first thing I noticed walking into this park is how beautiful it is. It really is in a nice setting. Everything around it looks amazing, and it's so lush and green. It doesn't feel like a Six Flags park, if that makes any sense, but I am used to Magic Mountain where it's kind of dry and barren. But this park aesthetically was probably the prettiest park I've ever been to besides like Disneyland. Another thing to take into account for this park is that it's actually half of a zoo, and it makes the park that much better. So the front half of the park is all rides and attractions. The back half of the park is actually mostly animals, and there are lions, giraffes, wolves, tigers. Now, although we didn't get to see many of the shows, I've heard a lot of good things about the shows, especially the tiger and dolphin shows, which we did not get to see, but we saw like a glimpse of it as we walked by, and it looked fantastic. One problem we ran into since we were only there for a day is that we weren't able to do everything. Now, we were actually able to get a lot of things done, but we did not see any of the shows. We only were able to eat one meal. Granted, this meal was very good. Their pizza was not even near as greasy as Magic Mountain's, which is good. Also, this food service itself was pretty fast, and there weren't any complaints on our end from it. One thing that I really want to talk about is the staff. The staff were so happy and energetic to be there, and so helpful with everything and every question we had. They were fantastic. I mean, it was a big change from some of the parks we have down here in Southern California and even another Northern California park that we visited that same trip. I mean, the staff was so happy with us there that they even let us ride Wonder Woman 3 times after the park had actually closed. So that was amazing. They were just having fun. They were smiling the whole day. Even the main ride op for Joker we saw her, 6 hours later in the day or 5 hours later, whenever it was, and she was still smiling, still happy to be there, and happy to be working on Joker. Now, that really helped our overall mood about the park because if they're happy to be there, we're happy to be there, if that makes any sense. One thing I also wanted to talk about is that this park is a really nice walking park. I was completely fine with spending an hour and a half just walking around the trails of the park. It was just so pretty and so enticing that I wanted to spend multiple days just walking the park. There are even hiking trails across this little lake that's right next to the park, and it was so unbelievably pretty that I want to visit just to walk again. And I don't usually ever say that for any parks. Now let's move on to the rides. The rides themselves are pretty decent. We didn't get on everything. We did not ride Kong, but I mean, that was probably the best decision we made all day. One thing I want to say about these rides is that they're filled with hang time. Joker has, I want to say, 3 or 4 hang time moments. V2 has 2, maybe even 3 hang time moments. And Superman has 1, and they're all fantastic moments of hang time. Even a little bit on Medusa's first vertical loop, you get a tiny bit of hang time, and I mean, it's great. Although the theming for the rides themselves are kind of lackluster, the theming for the park overall is pretty fantastic. You've got these great, huge animal statues that are colorful and very pretty to look at. All the exhibits look very exciting and very green and very healthy. And to be completely honest, the back section of the park is probably my favorite section of the park because of how quiet it is, how beautiful it is, and just how much there is to actually do. I've always been a big fan of zoos ever since going to the San Diego Zoo about once a month when I was younger. And man, this park is almost like a mixture of I would say the San Diego Zoo and Magic Mountain, but the good parts of Magic Mountain, if that makes any sense. It's a great park. I can't wait to get back there. There is one problem, though, I do have with this park. The locker situation is kind of ridiculous. They have bins in the station, but they're only available for water bottles or souvenir cups. Otherwise, for any loose articles or bags, you have to put them in a locker, which you have to spend $1 for each time before you get in line to go on either Joker, Medusa, Superman. But the funny thing is, you do not need to do that for V2 or their Larson Superloop, which I found really kind of funny because you'd expect them to have it. They just had carts on the side of the station which you could put your bags in, which I found that kind of weird, but that did kind of upset me having to spend, I think we spent about $6 or $7 on lockers, which was kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But I think that was the only dark spot that we had. Everything else gave us a really fantastic experience for the 5-6 hours we had there. One thing I do kind of want to say real quick, their top spin at the back of the park, not very well kept. I know it hasn't been running in a very long time, but at the same time, it's just like, you could clean that up a little bit, just a little bit. Also, they have 2 Johnny Rockets on the same path, which I found really weird. But besides that, I want to move on to my official rating for this park. I want to give it an 8 out of 10. I know that's probably kind of crazy to a lot of people, but I found a lot of joy in this park. It's so pretty and so happy, and it was the light of the trip that we took to Northern California last year. It was definitely my favorite day of the trip. It was amazing, and I can't wait to take my entire family up there because I know they'd all enjoy it. Even my grandparents would love it. It is just honestly my favorite park in Northern California, and I know a lot of people will be kind of mad about that because they'll say, oh, CGA is the best park up there. Park-wise, I'd have to disagree. Ride-wise, I don't disagree. CGA is definitely a better park for rides. Legitimately everything else, except for maybe the lockers, Discovery Kingdom wins out for me. So I hope you enjoyed this review of Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment your opinions, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and check out our merch, which all those links are down in the description. So until then, we'll see you on the next ride.